And then my water breaks in bed, y'all. The story time you've all been waiting for. My traumatic birth story. And if y'all have questions, just go ahead and drop them down below. As you all know, he was breached. So I was at home and I was like, okay, let me try to flip him one last time. And it's basically called an inversion. So I was doing like another inversion to try to flip him. And as I was doing that inversion, I hurt my back. Like I could not walk, y'all. Like I can barely walk. I couldn't stand. I couldn't lay down. I can barely do anything because I hurt it so bad. And then I put the girls down for bed. Once I got into my bed, I was like, the only thing that helps relieve my sciatic nerve is a massage gun. So I grabbed the massage gun and I'm laying in bed massaging my sciatic nerve. Like I put the massage gun down, and as I literally am just like laying on my phone, scrolling on a little tiki-taki, all I feel is I'm gonna do the sound, but that's literally what it felt like inside. And then my water breaks in bed, y'all. Water flood everywhere in the bed, like nonstop, y'all, gushing out. And so then I'm just laying there, but I was squeezing my legs together like that was gonna stop the water. I text Spencer and I literally am like, oh, babe, get home now. My water broke. He said, huh? Mind y'all, anyways, men. But then I called my sister and I'm just like, I hope she picks up, y'all. I hope she picks up. And she's like, hello? I said, nah, my water broke. She's like, oh, and I'm just like, yeah. She's just like, okay, so what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? And I'm just like, I need to call labor and delivery. Then I call labor and delivery and I told them like, hey, like my water just broke at 12:11. I know he's breached, so I do plan on delivering there. So my husband's on his way home. And they're like, what color is the water? And then I go to the bathroom and I sit down on the toilet and I pull my underwear down and I'm just like, oh, the water is like greenish, like kind of brown. Is it supposed to be clear? And she's just like, well, no, it can vary in color. As she's saying that, I feel like something fall out of my hoo-ha. Oh my gosh, something just fell out of my hoo-ha. And she's just like, what? So I reached down and I'm just like, oh my gosh, the umbilical cord. I can feel the umbilical cord. She's just like, hold on, I'm sorry. You said that you can feel the umbilical cord? And I'm like, yeah, like I have the umbilical cord in my hand. I was like, I think I need to go to a different hospital. And she's just like, yeah, I think you do. And then she hung up on me. So then I call Linnea back and I'm just like, Naya, the umbilical cord fell out, but I feel a pulse in the umbilical cord, so I think he's okay, but I do need to go to a different hospital. So I'm telling Spencer, I'm like, can you grab me some clothes because your mom's on her way. I don't want her to come in and see me naked. And so then he grabs me clothes and then I go outside and I'm like walking to the car. And as I'm walking to the car, I start having contractions. I get in the car and then I am like still on FaceTime with Linnea and I'm just like, Naya, I'm gonna have to call you back because I need to call labor and delivery at this other hospital. And then she's like, no, we're not getting off the phone. I'm like, I need to call labor and delivery at this other hospital and I don't have their number, so I have to Google. And she's like, okay, when you're done talking to them, call me back. Google it, got their number, and I called them and I explained to them everything. And they're just like, did you call an ambulance? And I'm just like, no, they didn't tell me to call an ambulance. They just hung up on me and told me that I need to go to you guys. They're talking to somebody else saying, she didn't call an ambulance. They didn't tell her to call an ambulance. They just hung up on her and told her to come here. And I'm just like, I'm still on the phone. Like, and so then they're like, okay, and how far away do you live? And I'm just like 10 minutes away. And they're just like, and you said that your umbilical cord is hanging out? And I said, yes. And they're just like, okay, so don't touch it. My jaw, hand is in my pants, holding it, making sure that it's like, I can still feel a pulse in it. I took my hand out. They said, and get in the front seat, passenger seat, on your hands and knees and lay the seat all the way back. So as Spencer's already driving, I'm trying to unbuckle the car seat, move the car seat, put the seat all the way down. And then they're just like, when you get here, come to the ED and we'll be outside waiting for you. And when I tell y'all Spencer was speeding, that man was driving like he needs to drive for NASCAR or something, because we got from our house up to the hospital in literally less than 10 minutes. And we probably live about like 15 away. But we got there, and when I tell y'all, we pulled up to the ED, and outside, they're standing out there waiting on me, y'all. When I say they were standing out there waiting on me, they were standing out there waiting on me. So Spencer pulls up, and they snatch the door open, and they're just like, all right, mama, we need you to get out, get on this gurney, hands and knees, get on the gurney, and outside in the ED ambulance parking area, there's another nurse, and she gets on the gurney behind me, and they're just like, okay, mama, there's a nurse behind you. She's gonna pull your pants down and push the umbilical cord back inside. Mind you, the entire time Linnea is on the phone with me. So she pulls my pants down, she pushes the umbilical cord back inside, and she's telling them like, okay, I can feel the pulse. They start wheeling me and this nurse on this gurney through the ED ambulance area into this elevator up the elevator into this operating room. They were telling me, okay, we need you to get from this gurney onto the operating gurney. And then I'm asking them, like, okay, as I'm moving, I'm like, can you guys take my Crocs off? Because I still got my shoes on, y'all. I still have my shoes on. And then they took my Crocs off, and then they took my pants off, and then they laid me down. They're doing an ultrasound, and they're just like, I don't see a heartbeat. And I'm just like, excuse me? And then they're like, okay, I found a heartbeat, but we're gonna have to deliver that baby right now because the baseline is low. And then the anesthesiologist is telling me, like, okay, you're gonna have to get put under. And I'm like telling them, like, please, can we please wait for my husband? Like, I'm terrified to get put under. I'm terrified to have another C-section. And then another nurse, she comes and she's like holding my hand, and she's just like, no, mama, do not freak out right now. Do not freak out. And the anesthesiologist is like, okay, we're gonna put the gas mask on you, and then you're gonna take 5 deep breaths, and by the time you get to 5, you should be asleep. But literally all I'm hearing as I get ready to go under is, ready to cut when you are, ready to cut when you are. And they're like wiping my stomach. Mind you, I still had my shirt on, so all they did was pull my shirt up, the curtain over, and they're like wiping my stomach to like sterilize it. And all I hear before I go under, after I take my 2 breaths, not 5 but 2, is that, ready to cut when you are, ready to cut when you are. And then yeah, I was asleep quick. I just told that story like it was nothing, but y'all, didn't even tell y'all the best part. We got to the hospital at 12:36. He was born at 12:46. 10 minutes. Getting to the hospital, upstairs to the OR, prepped, cut, baby out, 10 minutes. Oh, and the nurse also told me when I woke up, she told me that I was her first prolapse cord. That's what it's called when the umbilical cord comes out before the baby. And said to her, I was like, I guess we're all experiencing some firsts tonight, huh? But yeah, y'all, that was my traumatic birth story. But thank you guys for watching my story. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.